do some runnerinis. I'll try to do like a fully commentated run. So this is Octodad. I'll explain more of the complex stuff, but most of the movement stuff should be fairly self-explanatory. Just know that this is an incredibly silly game, and a lot of it doesn't make any sense. And a lot of the ways that the physics work basically can make the run either easier or harder, or both in some cases. And basically, all you do in the run is do all of the stuff it wants you to do, except in a couple cases where you can skip stuff. In most of the cases where you skip stuff, it's just because of the way the level is laid out. But in most cases, you do all of the things quickly, and ideally precisely. So one trick that's used a lot is that a lot of the goal things that you need to pull out of a pile of other stuff, if that makes sense. Nice, I threw it. Like the wedding ring, it has a larger grab box is what I refer to it as, where if I lift my arm really high into the air, it will suck onto the thing, onto the ring, or the apple in groceries case, instead of grabbing other stuff in there. So that is abused, like I said, with the ring and with the golden apple in grocery. And the reason that I quit the game, the reason that I quit the game after a wedding was because the opening credits are about a minute and a half, or a minute long, and are skippable because they don't count as a chapter in the story. So when you skip them and then hit continue, it'll just ignore the credits and move on to Home Sweet Home.
I made your coffee just the way you like it. Now that you're energized, I need you to take care of some chores in the backyard.
And then this is the hardest part of the run, in my opinion, is Home Sweet Home. Specifically, the burgers are really tough, and then mowing is also incredibly difficult and random. And I try to throw burgers if I can, and if it works, you know, whatever, I'm lucky. And if it doesn't, whatever, I lose like a second or so. Decent burgers. So the weeds can be really, really infuriating, like there's a misgrab. So I play on low physics, 50 sensitivity, which causes a lot of things to get really weird, but it is basically mandatory to go fast, as well as do a thing called the fly glitch, which you'll see later. And changing settings in the middle of the run can actually crash the game very easily. So that's why I don't do that. Technically, the fastest way to go about it would be play on high physics for the most part, and then switch to low when you have to. But if you do that, then the game crashes like 9 times out of 10. So it's just actually probably greater than 9 times out of 10. It's almost 100% consistent. So mowing did not go the greatest, and now is getting worse. Oh my god. Alright, I'm just gonna move. This is why the mowing can be a pain, is that precise movements is really difficult with holding objects. Here I'm gonna try something, but if it doesn't work, and whatever, it's not worth wasting time over. Basically what I do is I try to position the axe in such a way that the blade is on the log. Oops. And if it ends up working, then I get an instant chop. I don't need to pick up the axe again. But then if it doesn't work, then whatever, and you tried. So here I tried to grab as close to the bottom of the birdhouse as possible so I can hit these gnomes. The gnomes also have like cooldown between the first and second hit, so that's why I wait a second. But if you are holding as low down as possible, then you basically break the gnomes just by touching them, which is easy. A lot of times you'll have to flail a lot, but if you grab super low, it's fine. So there's this thing called the pizza skip that I'll go for, because fuck it. YOLO, I guess. Based God. Alright. And then grab the Sports Johnson without her seeing. Yeah. So pizza skip is really weird and is very abusive of the game's physics engine. You basically just clip into it, and it's kind of luck based. but it worked. Oh my god. So grocery outside a pizza skip is very tame. There is one other trick, sort of, and I'll explain it when I get there. But other than that, you just go around and get the things. Got a good boost. So here, I'm not going to give one... Oh god. Well, I should have maybe given a hoot about the ketchup. There we go, I saved it. So, normally you have to like clean it up. So I'm going to load checkpoint here, because for some reason her cutscene is stored differently. So when you load checkpoint, it doesn't reset her cutscene. There's a lot of cutscenes in the game that do get reset when you restart checkpoint. And that was Gervison Grocery. Nice! That was actually really fast. Alright, now here's the first Aqua level. This is Aquatic Fun Center. And we're going to do something called the ticket proxy. Ticket proxy is basically... normally you use that coupon and you get your own ticket, but all of these people also get their ticket and you're supposed to wait in line or whatever. Obviously you don't do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit here, and the ticket he grabs and that ticket are two completely different tickets, so it flings me with a lot of force across the map, and then I go into World of Kelp. And then here's World of Kelp, which is normally supposed to be about a 3-minute level, but I'm going to use the flight glitch where I hold up on both axes on the arms, and then hold U's, and what that does is it pulls my body with a lot of force and lets me basically fly. I trigger the final trigger in the level, which allows that level to end, so I did it in 20 seconds instead of, 3 minutes. And then we're going to Deep Sea. This is the one level that is incredibly impossible to break. It mostly relies on the fact that Stacy is required at all points in the level to like trigger further spots. You can still do a lot of the objectives without Stacy if you do manage to skip past, which is fairly easy to do. But the unfortunate thing is that the end of the level is, as far as I know, impossible to trigger the end load screen without Stacy near the end of the level. So we just do everything intended and do it as fast as possible, as fast as we think we can. And this, I still haven't messed around with it as extensively as I wish to, but as far as I understand, this is purely auto-scroller. The only time saved or lost in DDR is stepping on the thing initially, getting both your feet onto it as fast as possible, as well as how soon you click this final button, but you should always click it the second it spawns.
Now take a shake light and descend.
And then you grab the shake light and just run. Just sprint full force. You don't want to kick signs at all, or at least do it very little, because if a sign gets between Stacy and a wall, even though she should just push it through, and this is, yeah, that's why I try to do specific stuff normally. But if a sign gets between Stacy and a wall, even though she should just plow through it, she doesn't, and she soft locks.
That was the majestic hall of jellyfish. Were you entranced? I bet you were.
Whoops. And here's the plugs, which are infuriating, would be a word for it. I just grabbed that plug 3 times and it released it because low physics and 50 sensitivity. Oh, also apparently the wire was stuck in the floor. Okay, that explains it even better. So, after you do that, obviously you just move on. And like I said, it's pretty much just do the things. This level's not too complex. So one thing that I can touch on now that we have downtime is that I play using the old maps, so essentially an old version of the game. And it's mostly because the new maps, the ones that were created for the PS4 release, are just slower, and it just, I don't know, they're not as fun, in my opinion. They require you to do a lot more stuff in general. So that's basically why we play on the old version. This one's not bad. Not bad at all. Oh. Hey, Stacy. So now we gotta go to Amazon Arcade, which is arguably the worst level in the game. And it makes me really angry that you have to do 7, like you have to do the whole thing. You need to get 7 toys for Scarlet, and there are 9 or 10 games, I forget, that will give toys. Okay, I hope that works. No, it didn't at all. Alright, and this is why low physics is really the worst thing in the entire universe. So, I do Pachinko because Air Hockey Mat is impossible to beat. Okay, in peace. Air Hockey Mat is impossible to beat with low physics, so I do Pachinko instead, which arguably is not much easier, but it's slightly more consistent. How can you get the old maps? You can get the old maps just by, there's a link somewhere. There's a link floating around. I'll find it for you if you are actually genuinely interested. Otherwise, you can probably Google it or something. But all you do is you put them in your maps folder, and that's that. Excuse me. So this is already really bad. I've lost over 10 seconds easy. But normally you would do Air Hockey Mat because he's a little bit faster than Pachinko. But like I said, it's basically impossible. Take it. Okay. So fortunately that game is actually faster on the settings that I have.
These games are for children.
And then you just cheat a little bit. So the routing for this part of the thing is intentional. So what I do is I leave those 2 toys there, and then I do Whack-A-Kneel. And normally you can do Whack-A-Kneel in 2 goes, like that. And then that gives you exactly long enough to, well, unless you know, mess around like an idiot, to grab both of these toys out of the prize thing and give them to Scarlet. So you actually, that's pretty much optimal. I mean, I messed it up, so it's not, but that is the optimal route. And then here, this cutscene is skippable, contrary to what I thought for the first, like, month playing this game. And then I bring a toy with me to try to plug that hole early. Sometimes it works fine, and other times it just doesn't want to work at all. The weird thing is, I'm using the same toy for 2 holes. Because it spawns completely new toys to fall from the ceiling instead of the old ones. Come, grab one. Ugh, that was really bad. I should have lost a lot more time than that, though. So here I'm going to try and fly again. This is an annoying strat. But essentially, what I'm going to try to do is I want to fly. Come on, keep going, keep going, keep going. And then I want to fling. And there we go. Right over to Scarlet. So that skips having to climb up stuff, which I don't remember. It should be like 35 seconds normally, so I saved about 8 seconds or so. I think it's about 35 seconds normally. I hope so. That's the number that I remember, so. Okay, so this level, it wants you to do stuff, but because we play on easy, to skip the suspicion mechanic, you don't actually have to. Also, the skip is tough. There we go, got the leg on the railing. You just go over the box. Okay, that was weird. So there's a spot over to the, over to the right here that'll actually insta-kill you, because even on easy, it wants you to grab the captain's clothes, but as long as you come in the other door, it doesn't matter. And then let's go over here and trigger Scarlet. And then what I want to do is I want to step and then slide the whole way, and the way I'm sliding is holding the foot button. And what that should do, yeah, that skips the cutscene. Nice and easy. Normally there's a cutscene where Scarlet gets his attention, but you can completely skip it if you do that. You can go around the box as well, but going around the box is, I don't know, I mean, they're like the same strat. It's whatever you're more comfortable with. I like going over the box because I'm more comfortable with it. Going around the box I just found unnecessarily difficult. So this level, Because on easy you move slightly faster than other difficulties, just overall movement you are slightly faster, you can actually mash the button to just basically maintain full speed. And what I'm doing is I'm pacing out my mashing instead of like full mashing because I want to go a little bit slower to try to catch the cycle, which I'll probably mess up because I'm still not good at it. Yeah, okay. I'll just wait then. Mash, mash, mash. Okay, cool. So I still caught the rest of the cycles, which is fine. So obviously I lost a couple seconds because I hit the first pipe, I guess, column thing. But for the rest of it, that was how it was supposed to go if I didn't bonk on the first thing. The timing is still really tough because you have to go fast but not too fast. So it's really tough. Like I said, I'm still really bad at it, but this should still be about a 132. Which is fine. You can get, I think control, your time is like a I don't know. That was actually pretty good. That was faster than I thought. So here's a skip found by control, delicious. You fly glitch, leg, fly glitch, zooms, and then leg. And then you're out. So you skip the entire first half of Silent but Deadly. It's really complex, but basically the game spawns you in an out of bounds box, and then you stay out of bounds instead of letting it pull you in. And it skips a lot of stuff. And now here's the final boss. We do a couple skips in here. So what I do here is basically the fire insta-kills you, but you have a 2-second leeway period where after you restart checkpoint you don't die. And then I go over here and I trigger the chef to run fast, and then RNG takes care of the rest there. There's a chance that won't actually trigger Stacy. Tommy will always trigger though. And then Scarlet puts the fucking thing in their thing, and then I do the thing and what the thing and World Recce, I guess? Like really fast? Well, the one run I decide to commentate happens to beat the previous world record that I had just gotten by another 14.3 seconds. Well, howdily doodle.